Ma'am, can I ask one thing?
Yes, please.
Is that attendance and the certificate link both are same? I mean to say that I have to only fill the one form for attendance and certificate also.
Yes, yes, only one form.
Yes, that is same.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Ada video?
Ada.
Okay, dan ada sedikit video aktif. Itu tutup, tak kita buka.
Tak ada tutup.
Yang buka.
Hai, it's not dry yet. Hai.
Yelah, kita tutup pun. Tanya je.
You already closed tadi.
Ha? Tak. Oh, video ni? Kenapa dia chat dan layer tadi?
Everyone, I hope you have marked your attendance. We will begin in 2 to 5 minutes. And if there is any problem while marking the attendance, you can write to us.
It is requested that whoever is not using the mic, please turn it to mute, so there should be no disturbance during the conference. Thank you. Requested that whoever is not using the mic, please turn it to mute so there should be no disturbance.
Hello. Hello, dear participants. My voice is audible to you all, right? Niharika and Farah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so now I shall request all the participants to have patience for 5 minutes more because we are waiting for one of our guests. So after that, we will just begin this thing just after 5 minutes. Farhan and Niharika, you may begin the event just after 5 minutes from recitation, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Usman. Mr. Usman, I think there's a lot of noise coming from your side. I'm not sure if you are aware. We could hear from our side. Usman, back to you. Maybe if the host could mute the participants. Apparently.
Hello. Okay, thank you for the patience that you kept for so long. I just request now the host of the events to just begin the event. So over to you, Ms. Niharika. You can begin the event. There's one changing that have been sent to you on your mobile phone by Farhan. So start with the recitation first.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. The translator In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, all praises is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the entirely merciful, the specially merciful, sovereign of the day of recompense. It's you we worship and you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path. The path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor, not of those who have evoked your errand of or of those who are astray. Amen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is our pleasure to be the moderator for Student Professional Awareness Conference 2020. I am Niharika Singh and
I am Farhan Mumtaz, and on behalf of IEEE UTP student branch, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules to join us this evening. We hope you will learn a lot. Today we have lined up for you to be fruitful and engaging. So now I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Ravan from University Technology Petronas to give us a welcome message to begin the program with. May I request Dr. Ravan to please join us now?
Yep. Thank you, Farhan. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're clear, sir. You can go ahead.
Right. Okay. Yep. I'm not switching on my video. All right. Okay. Anyway, good evening to all the participants, the distinguished speakers, and the committee members who have organized this event. You know, as far as IEEE UTP student branch is concerned, this is one of the biggest events that we have organized. And I hope everyone will enjoy the talks by the distinguished speakers and, will benefit from it. So I think with that, I would like to welcome again for this event and thank you for participating. Thank you. Over to you, Farhan and Niharika.
thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Iraibin Al-Muzudi, for your wonderful remarks. So for today, our first speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Fanizu Asmadi Hussain. Dr. Fanizu possesses a rich working experience of more than 21 years in industry and academia. In his work experience, he has served in various elite organizations, that is, research professor at Intel Malaysia and Malaysia Japan International Institute of Technology. Currently, he is serving as an associate professor at Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering at University Technology Petronas, Malaysia. Dr. Fanizu pursues a rich interest in all aspects of computer engineering and science, covering both hardware and software scopes. In addition to this, he has more than 42 international publications in the same area, and with the 2 patents, Dr. Fanizu holds various international awards and recognition, that is, gold medals at International Trade Fair during Germany 2014, 3 gold medals at Malaysia Technology Expo and International Invention, Innovation and Technology Exhibition during 2014 and 2016, and has been awarded with Asia Pacific Outstanding Volunteer Award during IEEE 2018. He is actively involved with the IEEE Malaysia section as volunteer since 2009. He has served as the chair of the IEEE Circuits and Systems Society Malaysia chapter in 2013 and 2014. Currently, he is serving as the chair of IEEE Malaysia section, and now I would request him to share his knowledge with us.
Hello. Thank you, Niharika.
Hello, sir.
All right. Can everyone see my slide titled Discover Yourself?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Right. It's always great to be the first person to give a sharing session, right? So I'm given about 15 minutes to talk about this. Typically, I normally do an hour or an hour and a half kind of talk, which cover a lot more topics. But given the short time, I think I can try to be a bit more precise, right? So what I would like to share is basically, first of all, I assume that most of you are either undergraduate students or postgraduate students. There will be a few others, but mostly students, right? Either UG or PG. So I'm talking about IEEE and how you can find out, you can discover yourself what you truly are or what is it that you enjoy, right? So I decided to take a couple of these photos. As you can see, I seem to be very happy in these photos, especially the one on the left, right? To me, doing this kind of volunteer work, it really makes me happy, makes me satisfied. So hopefully maybe I can share so that you can see what it gives, what kind of opportunities it provides you. So a little bit about myself. On top of what Niharika shared, personally, I have this website that I manage. Is where I post a lot of different things, including activities with IEEE and some other details that if you like, you can go and check out. But for the past 21 years, I was with UTP. I've basically been involved with IEEE since 2002, as shown in here, right? So I can denote my involvement with IEEE in 3 phases. The first phase 1 is where I was just a member, not really a volunteer. Phase 0, I mean. Phase 1 was when I started to be a volunteer, but only for the society, for the Second System Society chapter in Malaysia. And in phase 2, where I decided to go a bit bigger and be involved with the Malaysia section, which has about 3,000 members in Malaysia. So these 3 phases saw very stark differences. I mean, I can only share so much today, but at other times you can always reach out to me and try to sort of, I can try to share a bit more of what these involvements actually entail, right? So the first thing I would like to share is the importance of teamwork, right? Teamwork. This is my team currently for the last 2 years, right? I'm sure this event today, this conference, will not happen if not because of the teamwork by the UTP student branch and everyone who supported the event, right? I can see for the first 6 minutes there, you guys were coordinated very much coordinated as a team. So that is very important. I put the caption there, if you want to go fast, you can go alone, but you cannot go very far, right? But if you want to go far, you cannot go alone. You have to go with a team. You have to go together with a team. Right? So that is the key message that I would like to share. And maybe throughout the journey for the next 10 minutes, I can sort of strengthen that message, right? Before going through a bit more detail, let's see the demographics of all members in Malaysia. There are about 3,000 members, and this year we are celebrating 35th anniversary. And the most significant elements that I can mention there is the sheer number of volunteers that are supporting IEEE Malaysia, right? Under the chapters, under the student branches, under the affinity groups, we have literally close to 1,000 volunteers, right? With 3,000 members. And in UTP alone, there are more than 10 people who are really driving the community. And you can see in the charts here, I show the demographics of where the members are located. About half are in Klang Valley, but still there are a bigger percentage of members elsewhere. Overall, there are about 25% student members. So student population in IEEE Malaysia is a significant population. It's 1 out of 4 members are student members, right? So that is very important. So my key message on top of the going further just now is about the 2% mindset. That's what I would like to push for in this next 10 minutes, right? What is a 2% mindset, right? So most people are stuck here in what we call comfort zone. The place where we are comfortable with, we know the ins and the out, we know where the dangers are, we know the people, we know the routine, right? This is our routine. And going out is, most people don't do that. Most people just go about the routine, getting up in the morning, go get coffee, go to the campus, to the lab, doing research, you go back. So this is your routine. Beyond that, maybe you have some family routine, you have your friends' routines, you have your work routines, but most people tend to stay within this. But the things that are interesting are not within your comfort zone. It's typically far away elsewhere. I call this where the magic happens, right? So most of the time, if you realize, if you see people who are, depends on how you define the word success, right? People who are successful, people who go beyond, people who make impacts, they don't stay in the comfort zone. They go beyond the comfort zone, right? So this is what I would like to say here. Basically, we need to be able to lean into our discomfort and be willing to move beyond our comfort zone. So that is the most important aspect of being a person, a human in general, right? If you don't challenge yourself, you don't grow. But going beyond the comfort zone there's a lot of danger, right? So you can make a leap without any safety, or you can try to build a lot of safety with it, right? So that you can actually make the leap safer. There is higher chance of not falling into the place where you have a lot of crocodiles, right? So that's what the 2% mindset is that I would like to convey, right? I presume many of you recognize this snow-capped mountain, Mount Fuji, right? I unfortunately have not yet had the opportunity to climb it, but I've had the opportunity to climb two, I would say, very significant mountains. One is Kinabalu in 2018, another one is Annapurna Base Camp in Nepal in 2019, right? So I would like to share this as sort of a case to show that you need to take your fears head on and make the leap forward. But at the same time, you need to prepare yourself so that you don't fall into the ravine and get eaten by the crocodiles, and make sure that you can actually do it safely and with higher chances of success, right? So what does it take to conquer such a summit? The first thing is that you cannot do it alone. You cannot climb a mountain alone. Mountain is like going for a marathon, right? You climb a mountain, it doesn't get done in the next 2 hours, 3 hours where you can maintain with your own stamina, right? You need to be able to persevere for several days. And the easier way is basically to have people who are willing to sort of slow down when you're tired and lift you up maybe when you get injured, and give you encouragements when you feel like, oh, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I need to go back. I need to end this, right? The second thing is you need to have that team, and you need to have the tools in order to overcome some of the challenges that you will face along the way. Sometimes you face an uphill place where you cannot go by your own foot. You have to use some kind of tools. Plus, it's important to learn how others did it, so you don't have to sort of try everything new. Use proven techniques, yeah? Use proven methods in order to do something new, right? So that's, to me, these are some of the recipes to make you able to conquer the summit. The summit here is a metaphor. It's just a mountain, but at the same time, it could be anything else in your life, right? But at the same time, in the seriousness of conquering the mountains, don't forget to take the time to enjoy the moment. Celebrate with your team. Celebrate the small successes, right? The small successes are what can push you forward, to keep you with the energy, to sustain your energy and desire to actually conquer what you need to conquer as to prove yourself as a person who takes on challenges, right? So it's important to be able to take this and enjoy the view, take a deep breath, and celebrate the small successes with your team. IEEE is, I would say, in the place where we provide a lot of platforms to develop, especially our young people, the student members, the postgraduate student members, the young professionals, in order to develop their leadership, in order to develop their way of managing, right? in order to make impacts. And at the same time, IEEE provides a lot of different tools and resources to make the people who wish to make a lot of changes, a lot of impacts in the world with the tools, with the funding. So that's what I discovered, right? So in IEEE Malaysia, it's important for you to realize that this is what is available. And if you wish to go forward for the next 4 or 5 years as a volunteer, these are some of the things that you can actually gain, right? For me, after volunteering for more than 10 years, I think the bottom one is the most important part. Basically, to feel satisfied, to feel like you have made an impact to the community, to the people around you. So in order to allow you to leap forward, right, you need to give yourself the opportunity in order to leap out of your comfort zone. You need that opportunity. Without the opportunity, you cannot leap out of comfort zone. So here's some of the examples where we actually allow the students to lead, students to actually manage. They learn how to manage things. They learn how to lead. Similar to the conference now, all managed by UTP Student Branch, and I think they are doing well. I was working with the UTP Student Branch team on the student conference last year. It was very, very successful conference. So I think the recipe of what you need in order to leap out of your comfort zone is the team, the opportunity, right? Second, the community of IEEE in Malaysia provides the necessary training and upskilling for volunteers in order to learn about leadership, learn about managing time, managing stuff, right? So, for example, annual congress is participated by most student branches. Almost 100% participate, and there is always motivational talk, leadership talk by past leaders, people who have walked the shoes, right? They can share with you so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Hands-on workshop for the student volunteers on many different things, on getting grants, on how to advance your career, and the most important is the networking opportunity. This year we don't have a physical one, but typically you get the opportunity to meet other students and to meet other professionals. That's the most important. And there are a lot of resources available, right? Yeah, I hope everyone can see. Someone mentioned that he cannot see the screen. But anyway, a lot of resources available, such as the Center for Leadership Excellence, where you can train yourself at your own time, on-demand training materials available. Mentorship. IEEE provides mentorship program through their tools. I mean, people like me, I'm willing to offer time. There are a lot of volunteers in Malaysia, 200-300 of them. I'm sure they are willing to take up 1 or 2 people for them to sort of mentor, right? And most important thing is the key here, the concept of sandbox, right? That's what I learned from being a volunteer in IEEE. You get to try different things, to try your leadership capability, to try how you manage things as a form of sandbox. I mean, you know the concept of sandbox where you can do anything here, it will not disturb the things outside of it, right? So you can make mistakes in leadership, you can make mistakes in managing IEEE community. It will not affect your professional career. It's more of a sandbox for you to try things, try different techniques, take up challenges that maybe if you can deliver. Otherwise, maybe you cannot deliver 100%. So the opportunity, the platform is provided. That's one of the keys. Of course, on top of that, there are opportunities for you to travel. Unfortunately, this year there's no traveling. There's not much traveling this year. And IEEE provides a lot of resources available. For example, if you want to make an impact to the community, right? This is an example, this year's grants. Mr. Mustafa, the main organizer of this event, is getting this grant in order to do something to help tackle the COVID-19 issues, right? This is just one example. There are a lot of different resources available. If you have the idea, the energy of what you want to do to make an impact to the community, to the humanity in general, put up the proposal. The funding is there. The resources are there. The training is there for you to do it. And in closing, right, I'd like to mention that as a academician, right, because of the network that I established through IEEE with the people under section, under the chapters, and people that I meet in international events, right, it opens up a lot of different things. These are some of the things that I have gained directly from my involvement as an IEEE volunteer, right? And at the same time, as a volunteer with a professional entity like IEEE, you have the platform to be known technically, right? And you have the platform to influence changes, to make an impact to other people, just like what I'm doing now, to encourage you to explore, to make the leap, try different things. And is it worth it? I mean, in terms of financially, this is what I pay annually, sometimes high, lower, sometimes more, depending on the societies that I register. But my short answer is yes. It's not just that, it's by leaps and bounds, 4 or 5 times more in terms of value that I return, right? So the IEEE, through my involvement, provides all of these things to me, learning new skills, to practice my leadership and managerial skills. I can make mistakes. I can learn from other volunteers, and I can get recognized. And most important is to make an impact to others. That is what makes me always smile when I do IEEE events. Right? So let me close this session with this word here, right? First, you need to give yourself the opportunity to grow. Don't remain in the comfort zone, right? Try to jump, make the leap to the, where the things happen, but establish the necessary platform so that you don't fall into the ravine and get eaten by the crocodiles, right? And be bigger than yourselves. Don't just think about what's in it for me. That will not sustain you. Try to see what is it that I can do to others through a platform such as IEEE in order to make an impact to the world, right? So that's my closing one. And if you're not yet aware, there is a page, follow us. Everything that happens are advertised here on our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. The most active one is Facebook, right? So thank you very much.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Fanizu Azmati Hussain, for sharing your wonderful knowledge with us. Now, I would like to invite the second speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Noorliza Binte Mohammed Noor. Dr. Noorliza Binte Mohammed Noor, she is currently attached as an Associate Professor in Razak School of Engineering and Advanced Technology, University Technology, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur campus. She received her bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Texas Tech University in Lubbock, and she received her master's of electrical engineering by research and PhD electrical engineering from University Technology, Malaysia. Her research area is image processing and image analysis. Her current work concentrates on medical image analysis for lung diseases. Currently, she is the head of the Electrophysiology Research Group, UTM Razak School. She's a senior member of IEEE since 2008, where she has been a member for more than 25 years, starting as a student member while studying in USA. In 1998 till 2001, she had several key positions in IEEE Malaysia section. She is the founding chapter chair for IEEE Signal Processing Society Malaysia chapter in 2002, and she held that position till 2006. She is an active IEEE volunteer and held key positions in IEEE Signal Processing Society Malaysia chapter and IEEE Engineering, Medicine and Biology Society Malaysia chapter till now. She is an active member of IEEE Women in Engineering Affinity Group. She was elected as the IEEE Malaysia chapter chair for 2 years from 2013 to 2014. During her tenure as the IEEE Malaysia section chair, the IEEE membership in Malaysia grew from 2,880 to slightly more than 3,500 members. He was appointed as IEEE Art and Individual Benefits and Service Coordinator and Geographic Unit Operations Support Committee Technical Chapter Representative from 2015 to 2016. Currently, she is in the IEEE Members Benefit Portfolio Advisory Committee and IEEE Educational Activity Board, Student Educational Resource Committee. Now, I would like to request her to share a few words with us.
Okay, thank you, Farhan, for a very warm introduction of myself. Thank you. And I would like to thank the organizers, UTP Student Branch, for organizing this event. And also thank you for inviting me to be one of the speakers. So I'm very honored. So let me share you my screen, my slide. Sorry. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes, ma'am,
Okay.
it's clear.
All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. All right. So before that, I will have to start with my university for a while first, because it's customary. So they are my employer. So just to let you know that this is the background of the UTM, University Technology Malaysia. We have two campuses, one in Skudai, UTM Skudai, and the other one is in Kuala Lumpur. So I'm based in Kuala Lumpur. So it's quite heartening to see that about 12% of the members from the Dr. Farnese slide just now consists at the southern part. So which is a very what do you call it, up and coming active region. So maybe next subsection should be the Johor subsection. Okay, Dr. Farnese? All right, so this is my university. So we are in the World University Ranking, QS or University Ranking number 187. So we've been climbing steadily uphill, right, from 2016, from place of 303 up until now, this 217, sorry, and then they plan to achieve 2021 at 187. All right, and also for this one, for the university ranking at top 50 for the university under 50 years old. So we are also at 2019 is at the number 17, and so we are hoping to be moved at number 13. All right. Okay, so let me introduce, thank you for the warm introduction. So just let me introduce myself again in brief. So I'm working as a professor at the Razak Faculty of Technology Informatics, University Technology of Malaysia, UTM Kuala Lumpur campus. So I'm graduated BSc Electronics Engineering in 1985, then Master by Research in 1996, and PhD, both of these Masters and PhD in UTM, graduated from UTM in PhD in 2010. So there's about, you can see it's about 10 years gap for each, right? So because I did my master's and my PhD part-time while working, all right? So I have lovely 4 lovely grown-up children. All right, so my youngest now is 22 years old, so she's at a final year for her mechanical engineering. All right, so I'm glad to say that all my children are in the engineering, except for the third one. The second one is in the biotech, bioinformatics. Right, and also I'm a proud grandmother to 2 grandchildren, age 3 and now 8 months years old. All right. And then just now, Farhan already mentioned that I'm the signal processing founding chair for the signal processing Malaysia chapter. And I was the chair for Malaysian section in 2013, 2014. I was in the Malaysian section much earlier on, which is on the 1998 until 2000. That one was our late Prof. Marzuki revived back Malaysian section. It was dormant for quite some time. So then we revive back and see how it grows now. So I also this in the side group HEC event and EEB certificate program committee, things like that. All right, and I'm proud to say that finally this is my second time running for the ARC-10 director elect candidate for 2021-2022 term. I was in the 2018-2019 term. But I lost second place to Deepak Mathur. All right. So now for this time around, I'm running again. So hopefully everyone, graduate member, you can vote. So please do vote. Right. So this time around, I'm running again with Lance Fong from Australia, Swabadi Aramvi from Thailand, and Celia Sanas from Bangladesh. All right, so let's go straight to my talk. So my talk is how we can help your career. So I believe, since this is a students conference, student event, so I believe this is the best topic for you all. All right. So finally, congrats, you did it. You have already graduated. Does not matter first degree or master's or PhD. Right. So congratulations, you did it. So what happened next? Right. So now what should I do next? So you need to find a job. All right. So what type of job? Really depending what you want to do. All right. So this is normally some universities, basically Malaysia universities, we there's a lot of training like how to do your resume, how to perform the interview, and etc. 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 So you all are very lucky. Like myself, last time I was in US, we were not that lucky. No training, no nothing, no workshop on what to do next. So we were left on our own. But the best part is the university did have on-campus interview session and so on. Right? But the thing is, what do you want to do? So that is the main task, right? Main question. So it really depends which type are you. Okay, so are you type of realistic, meaning that you like to work with things, play sport, use tools and machines, be outdoors, right? So are you type of the investigative type, where you like to solve problems, explore, learn new things, and use math and sciences? Or you are you the type of that very artistic, where you like to create things, or use your imagination, and of course express yourself? And then, are you the social type, where you like to help others, teach others, give advice, and like to be around people? Next, are you type of the enterprising type, where you like to persuade others, give direction, work with people, or be a leader? Right? Meaning that you would like to be your own boss, right? Or you like to be just the conventional, normal, follow the instruction, solve math problems, organize things, and work indoors. So which of these 6 career types that fit you best, right? So then from here, then you will know where you want to go, right? So I'm not sure whether Fuchs has the polling. If we use WebEx, we can do the polling, so I can gauge from the audience which one, which type are they? All right. So sorry about that. All right. So which type of the job that suit you? All right. So for the realistic, normally you become field engineer, production engineer, or site engineer, maintenance, or engineering involved in the planning or sales, where you like to go out. Then the investigative type, you like to design, to do R&D, or to become consultant, like to solve other people's problem, right? And for the artistic side, you like to become the inventor, the innovator, or the creator. And then the social type, normally you will like to become the educator, meaning that you like to become teacher, professors, or lecturers, and things like that. Or you like to do the humanitarian part, which is so you're a humanitarian activist, which is you like to help others. So normally in RTP we do have this, but what we do is we leveraging on the technology to help the people. All right. So meaning that you don't give poor people the fish. What you do, you give poor people the what they call it, the fishing rod, so that they can learn how to fish, right? And so meaning if you give them a fish, they eat for the day. But if you give them fishing rod and you teach them how to fish, then they can do it. They can get the fish every day, as long as they work, right? And then enterprising, the type of enterprising. So this is the new part now. Many of the young generation here, the millennials, right? They would like to do this. They be their own boss. So now and then they have the idea that they can deliver. Plus they have the backup, meaning that they have the parents who can take risks. So they can easily take risks because they have a backup. If fall down, they have parents who can catch them, right? So this is normally the startup tech and the innovator. All right, and of course they have the conventional, so the engineer, the normal engineer, like the maintenance or the M&E, or things like that. All right, So this normally conventional they like to stay indoors and not like the realistic one. They like that one they will be on the ground, outside. Okay, so which type of job will suit you? Now, how can IEEE help? All right, so in the IEEE website, IEEE.org, so there are so many things inside. So how many of you have really go through it? I mean, I myself don't. So normally I just go through the website to the things that I really need only. So if I'm in the section, so normally we have the what they call it, the management side, the how to run the chapter, how to run the section, and then we have to know the bylaws, the IEEE bylaws, things like that. So there will be there inside the website. You may not need to log in also, right? But only at a certain level, they need you to log in. Right? So from here, you can find, so like if you are in the field engineer, production engineer, maintenance engineer, or engineer involved in planning and sales, normally where do you go? Right? So of course, you need to know the latest cutting edge product, right? Because you need to find spare parts, you need to find the new things, how they do things like that. So normally IEEE Spectrum, all right? So they have a lot of the new things stuff there. These new things not just for today, they can be 10 years in advance. So when you do in planning, you need to know what will be there in 10 years in advance. Right? Of course, the next will be the standard. We have the Standards Association in IEEE. IEEE SA they call it. So there's a lot of things, and then now it's open to members. You can join in to develop the standards also, right? So it's a hard work, and you can learn how to do that. So normally I saw people from the industry a lot in this standards group. Why? Because they want to know what will be the standards, and so they will be ahead, and also they can contribute, especially if their company is developing the product. So they can push in their product into the standard, right? So that's why. Right? They have the design, research, development. So of course here for the R&D, research and so on. So we have the IEEE Explore. We also have the IEEE Spectrum for you to see, to know what will be in the future or things like that, what already in the market, state of the art and things like that. All right. Then, of course, we have the relevant technical society. So at the moment, we have about 38 technical society. So all under IEEE, electrical, electronics, engineering. So already branched out into 38 technical societies. So it's so huge and so diverse, all right, including the computer science, computer engineering, things like that. All right. And also the biomechanics and the mechanics and even biology also included, biomedical. And so we have the live and recorded webinar by distinguished speaker. Then you have the tutorial, right? You want to learn how to do things like that, the new one, So we have the IEEE TV or IEEE Learning Network courses, things like that. Okay, so now next for the educator. So the relevant technical society, for the educator means teacher. So here we have the tri-engineering, I show in the thing. So we have for the teachers, we have for the students as well. All right. So meaning that you can, if you are trying to get, what kind of project should I give to my students? So you mean if you have become a high school teacher or elementary school teacher, you need to find what kind of projects, things available. Even now is coding, right? So what type of coding, what are the simplest method to teach the student how to code? So all are here, the project-based, things like that. Then they also have teachers resources, meaning they can have the answers for the teachers as well, right? So this is under the tryengineering.org. Of course, the rest are the same for the educator, relevant technical society. So you go to the Power Technical Society. Then of course you have the webinar by the distinguished speaker, and then you have the tutorial, and also you have the ILN, IEEE Learning Network courses. All right. And then for the human activists, before this, also some of these, you can have badges. So if you also conduct your own courses, all right. So meaning that you may not be necessarily working with a school or things like that. You can become a consultant, or you can become provide training courses. right? So when you provide training courses, you like to have the certificate, you can approach IEEE certification program committee to get it approved by them. Then you can buy the certificate with IEEE emblem. All right. So it's not certified by IEEE. It's not a certified program by IEEE, but you can get the recognized at your workshop or your program to be recognized by IEEE, and then they allow you to purchase the CJ or the certificate with the IEEE emblem, right? So that is another way. So meaning that there's a lot of things now. I know with the COVID-19 and so on, the pandemic, it's hard to get jobs. But if you can teach them online, things like that, you can trade, and you can get some income. All right. So next is the humanitarian activities. Okay. IEEE provide a platform by proposal to by giving grants, meaning that they can give out grants, money from the IEEE HAC, which is the Humanitarian Activity Committee. So this one is normally a big project. So between 20,000 USD up to, I think, 99,000 USD. All right. And then we have the small group, which is the special interest group, humanitarian technology at IEEE side. So then this one, they will give up to 20,000 USD. All right. So this meaning smaller project. And we have there's on the website, you can go and there is a 2020 HSC project call for proposal. And also, if I'm not mistaken, they already call for now COVID-19, the pandemic, anything related with the COVID. I think there's a few four groups from Malaysia already received this type of grant. So I have one colleague got about 5,000 USD, which is you multiply by 4, you got about 20,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is more than enough to run your program. Okay. All right. So that is how wonderful it is, right? Right now they are having a lot of this grant. So where do they get this money from? All right. So then normally they get the money from the donation, which is majority from the IEEE Foundation. Okay. Next, if you are the startup tech or in an innovator tech, all right. So what we have is now this is new. I think just recently, about 2-3 years. So this is the IEEE entrepreneurship. So there's a website on it. All right. So this is where you can get into the community, and then especially for the technology startup, young professional, even you can find your investor and the venture capital organization, or you can find your partners here. All right. So you can learn from the best visionary in the frontier tech startup world with the entrepreneurship, the ever expanding global network. So this is a global, right? So now you cannot rely on employer to find jobs. So you have to think, be creative, and then if you're creative, you have some things that you can sell or service you can give. This is the place, all right? Okay, next is the consultant. Consultant, I've been searching, so I only found here in the under IEEE USA. So there is a lot of talk or videos on how to become a good consultant. All right. Also, there is a consultant finder and online tools and things like that. But basically, this is all in US. We do not have, do not have yet in Malaysia, but maybe we have the consultant, the MICE SNAG affinity group. Maybe they can start doing this. Yeah. I think Hussein is in that group. Hussein, you can start this. Right. So this is quite good. Right. You can see the video for free. All right. Okay. And then, of course, now this is the free books for members. So, consultant for geeks, right? I myself will download this. I'm not yet. I just found out when I'm preparing for this talk. So there is a free for members, and non-members you have to pay about $5. $5 US. So this is how you learn how to become a consultant, things like that, and also how to and they call it compensation, right? So that is how you to charge the fees, right? Okay, so can IEEE help me find the job? Right. So once you know what you want to do, things like that, right? So some you can do your own, meaning like startup, things like that, or consultant, you can create your own. But some you want to, maybe some want to like to gain experience and work with others. So how you can find, how can IEEE find the job, right? So I also been searching. Last time it was under the website IEEE.org, but I couldn't find it any. But it is now in the IEEE Collaborative. So you have to log in to see. All right. So here we have the people, communities, workspace, opportunities, library, and event. So these are it's similar like Facebook and LinkedIn, but this is IEEE Collaborator. So network, where you can network, you can collaborate, and you can create the technology expert. All right. So this is good for people who like to find friends or networking from outside their own country, right? And also there's an opportunity. That is where you find the job. So you have to log in. I'm sure you have this is because therefore this is only for the IEEE members, right? So from here you log in, then you will see here. You can filter it. So most of the work now is in US. Right, so there is some other country maybe they do not post it yet. So even UK also do not post it yet here. Maybe because of the pandemic, so they don't want to post it that people will move mobile. Mobility now is being restricted. So this is one, and then we also have this. This one I just before this is now I just put say New York. Meaning that based on the state that you want to work. So from here, I said, wow, in New York, a lot of work from Apple, right? Senior software data engineer, engineering project manager, Apple Pay server, lead the site reliability engineer, Apple Pay, software engineer, Apple Pay, meaning this is most on the software engineer, meaning the mobile, the e-payment, right? Okay, now that is in global. So now in Malaysia section, what do we have any? Of course, Dr. Fanuzi has created this website, beautiful website. Then whereby you have this job posting, right? Okay, so I think I put one of these communities inside the communities. There will be at the end is the job posting. So this is the latest one, GRA vacancy at multimedia universities. This is majority now at the moment is being posted by researchers from universities that they have the grant and which they can pay. So they are looking for students and so on, meaning they're looking for research assistant and research officer. All right, to do or graduate research assistant, things like that. So this is good. Maybe later we should, research section will work with the industry so that they post it here, and just like the job street. So instead of job street, they put here. Then it will be more more choices for the members, IEEE members. Then this is also another one this is from my chapter, EMBS Malaysia chapter. So we also follow the same concept, but now we have this project listing. All right, so the new one is here, June 2020, this January 2019, last year. And then this is these two, so graduate research assistant and also PhD student position. Right? Or you can also, if you're a company, you can register here. You want to find, what do you call it? Sorry. Okay, you want to find potential employee, so you can post it here, right? You can fill up this form and submit, then we'll advertise it for you. At the moment, it's free. Okay. So next is a members benefit. So here, is another place for you to find. This is we have the global benefit finder, right? So this is certain parts. Sometimes you have the discount, we have the humanitarian program, things like that. Or keeping the technically current. So this is very informative. So here we have the career resources and recognition, and you can go how. So here we have even the women in engineering WIE. This is like a support group for the WIE. All right. Then we have the consultant database. We have the e-learning library, career asset manager. So this is a member grade elevation, meaning from registered member to full member, or and then to the senior member. Okay. And then this is the IEEE continuing education providers program. So this is where you can, if you want to give give the as a provider, then you can find here, right? Okay, so that is the professional networking. So here we have the discount, where the Google apps and so on. Cool. Right, and then here we have the continuing education. We have the discount. So last time when I bought my Dell desktop, I bought it from here. Right? They'll give you the list. So we have a discount for Dell, right? So in Malaysia, there is a discount for Dell. It's not provided for every country. So it's a different country, right? So so far mainly from US, but for the committee, so normally they will provide a members from region 10 and so to become a committee member, then they can bring all this discount, right? And also humanitarian programs, as I said. Okay, so that's about it from my talk. I hope if there is any question, I would like, I'm gladly to answer the questions. So lastly, I have to also introduce my university. So this is my campus. All right, so this is the view from my floor. I'm on the 13th floor, so we have a very nice KLCC view, and also the other side we have very nice. You can see the Genting at night, right? So these are the what do you call it, the courses offered by my faculty. So this is MSc System Engineering, Engineering Business Management, Engineering Education, Engineering Design, Sustainable Infrastructure. This is all by coursework. And of course, we do have by research, so PhD and PhD industry, and the MPhil. So my faculty is generic. So we provide PhD generic and MPhil generic, meaning is you can have a multidisciplinary. All right. This is I would like to inform that IEEE SPS Malaysia chapter will host an international conference on image processing in 2023. This is flagship conference. So we have we tried so much to host this, and we finally got it for the 2023. I hope everyone can be prepared and try to. I know it's a bit expensive, but the thing is, one registration can cover up to 4 papers, right? Okay, so this is my what do you call it? My another chapter, which is the EMBS. So we are having a conference, but it's already postponed to March. I did not put in the latest call for paper, so it's still open. The paper submission. So please, if you want, I invite you to submit your papers here. All right, and then this is I would like to welcome everyone. This is our signal processing virtual symposium on the 22nd September. So this is a free event. So we just we already have 3 keynotes. So we'll talk. I will give the talk on that day. So please feel free to browse and do registered for you. Please register for you to attend this one online virtual. All right. So lastly, thank you very much for your attention, for listening to me, and thank you again, UTP SP, for inviting me to this. So I pass it back to the host. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Noorzila Binti Muhammad Noor, for sharing an insight of IEEE and a wonderful talk. Today, our third speaker is Dr. Adil Abdullah Al-Rafi. Dr. Adil Abdullah is a graduate in Bachelor of Science from Military Technical College, Egypt. He has received his Master of Technology degree in 1994 from Kennedy Western University, USA, followed by the PhD in year 1995. His research areas are the renewable and sustainable energy for unserved populations, the effect of radiated fields and other emissions on life, and ways of coexistence safety within them. He has served as chair of, sorry,
Bahrain section.
sorry, sir. I just missed it.
Yes. A good day, everyone. Actually, I'm talking from Bahrain. It's very good opportunity to meet all this group and great also to see our colleague and student and young professional among us. Actually, it gives me very nice impact and pleasure also. And I hope that this will extend in future in form of exchange visits between Malaysia and Bahrain for members and student and young professional to exchange the experience and to know about each countries of the region. You may hear about Bahrain. It is a very small island in the Gulf area, and I came from. And today I want to share some of my experience and life and circumstances that we are passing now, especially in this pandemic situation. And my speech will concentrate on what we can do, especially now. We don't know, we cannot expect whether the situation will go better or worse. I don't know, but we must be ready for any situation, as you know. I will share with you my small presentation I made especially for this occasion. I will not talk to myself too much, but you will, in future, we will have this opportunity. I want to share the desktop with you, okay. Then I will introduce to you this small presentation made for this occasion to what's called use the renewable and sustainable energy for productive homes. We must be ready for, as I told now, for the worst condition that we may pass. And we designed some model or some proposal that can be followed by any parties. And we have supported also by IEEE Bahrain section, which I was the chair for 2 periods of 4 years. And Al Ihsan Welfare Society, it is locally here in Bahrain. And of course, as Dr. Noliza said, the IEEE site, which we have a group here in Bahrain, and we are supporting any project that can help us in withstand this crisis that we are passing now. Okay, if we are going now to the second slide, which is I titled Productive Homes Project, that using the energy to make what's called solar saving of our resources and our electric power and energy, and limiting, of course, the fossil fuel usage, which is one of each country national targets that the country paying for this, and also people are suffering from the pollution of the atmosphere and environment. Using also of solar energy in form of electricity of anything can reduce the electricity bill that everyone is paying for his house or his establishment, and also support some food production facilities and helping us to supply food at very low cost. Of course, if we go to the some model I proposed and we are applying here in Bahrain, and we started by the support of many parties, as I introduced in my first slide. I suppose that any house or flat or even camp can be equipped with solar cells and thermal concentrator, okay, and some greenhouse on the top, and some fish tank in the ground of the house or in the surrounding fence besides the surround fence. The solar voltaic generator actually, if you place in on the roof of any building, will help in producing maybe most we measured here now, we are about 30 to 35% of our home energy coming from solar. Of course, for the project that we already equipped with solar cells. If we install sufficient solar voltaic cell, they can supply most of the domestic consumer needs. We have some technique here, maybe also international, that called net metering technique, which you can combine or you can connect the out of the energy after the converters and so on, and changing it into AC energy to the grid of the country, of the grid of the town. Why this? If I have less energy generated from my facility, I can compensate some extra from the grid. Okay. Of course, I will not pay full bill, but I will only pay for my consumption. On the other hand, if I'm out of my home, out of my country, or not using too much electricity, I have an extra energy generated from my house, and I can bump it back to the grid, and my what's called meter, okay, the electricity meter or the electricity energy meter will stop revolving and maybe revolving in the other direction, and this will reduce the bill and maybe zeroing it or going to negative. Okay, that means I can take money back from the company that supply electricity. Okay, this you may hear or read about it. It is called net metering technique. Okay, of course we talk about, or we mentioned now, the voltaic solar generators. We have also thermal generation according to the climate of your country. For example, we have very hot climate, and we started using some generator like this Stirling machine. I will show you how it is it's working. We hope it will work. Oh, sorry, we went to this one. No, here. This is actually a very old machine that invented maybe more than 1 century, in 18 something or 19 something. It depends on, this is one cylinder. One is hot and one cold side. If you started, it will move like a piston, and by special mechanical arrangement, you can connect to direct 220 or 110 AC generator that can supply your needs from this thermal machine. Okay. On the other hand, we have also, or thermally also we have a turbine, steam. If you notice here, steam from a boiler. We can place a boiler, a water boiler, in the focus of parabolic reflector that directed to the sun, and which concentrate the heat and change the water into steam with great pressure, that moving some piston. And of course, this is what's called steam engine or steam turbine. Okay, this actually a very amazing machine that we are developing now, because we notice that if we use the what's called the seawater, we can obtain also a sweet water. Okay, and it can be used for irrigation or drinking as a sources. Okay. These two kinds of utilization of thermal energy, okay, not depending on only solar voltaic cells, which are expensive and need continuous maintenance and cleaning, because the efficiency will be lower after some time. From our experience here in Bahrain, that some of our students, IEEE students in universities like AMA, developed some robotic for cleaning and maintaining this solar cells. But I noticed that the thermal engine needs less maintenance than the solar voltaic. Don't forget also that some countries in the region has a wind, great wind, especially on the high altitudes, that we can erect some wind generator, which of course is the same like thermal machines, does not need any converter. It can equipped with here with AC generator that can generate direct 220 volt or 110 according to your standard, and no need for batteries and the charging and recharging of the battery, which is also a headache for this technique. Okay, I explained here this. The voltaic needs maintenance and converter, while the wind turbine and the thermal need no converter, no batteries, and less maintenance. Of course, you can compare in your research or in your reading or studies about this and decide which model is convenient for your local place. Okay, again, I will talk about advantage of net metering, which applied in Bahrain successfully and supported by the government, that they are offering technical support, okay, which representing no power cut, because once I have less power, less energy in my house, I can compensate from the local grid. If I have extra, I can bump it back to reduce my bill, supply my neighbor, and paying back some money for to my pocket. Okay. Now, using of this energy can also not only for electricity, I can apply for the greenhouse, which I pointed before on my earlier slides, that I can make. See, one guy in our country making his own greenhouse. Of course, I can make a big one, and I can plant many crops, vegetables and the fruits and everything, and I cover not only my family needs, but I can sell some of this production into the market. Okay, it can be a big one, okay, according to my capital, or small one like this or like this. My children can make on the roof by very what's called raw material, simple raw material, and not expensive. Okay, using of this solar generated energy and water for planting crop, the energy can, for example, move here some exhaust fan. We can put exhaust fan to reduce the temperature for the cold needed the cold atmosphere needed plants, and some of them I will show you a design. I think I have here that can be aquaponic, that combining planting with fish tank. If we make this one, it can make a feed to the fish and take from the fish the waste material to be as a fertilizer for the plant. This also applied in my country successfully. Okay. Now we have also a very good experience in agriculture in seawater. You know, the salty water, of course, can kill any plant, or can no more crops can grow in this salty water. But some countries developed a special kind of seeds that can grow in this seawater. Okay, one of this country is Egypt. The other is United Arab Emirates. The third is Vietnam. That we are now importing the seeds from there to plant and irrigate by the seawater. This actually, maybe one of this said, what about why you are telling us about this? Because I'm afraid that this pandemic will extend. Now we have about 1 year, approximately 1 year, suffering, no problem, 3/4 of the year suffering from the bad impact of this pandemic. And we cannot expect how long it will last among us. Okay, we can from now think about how we can overcome this crisis that we may expect. Okay, this rise, if you see here, this rise in the seawater. Okay, what else? Yes, this here. So this is the fish farming, which I just told you. I can also have a small tank, and here in Bahrain, our government supply us with this small fish from a nursery, and I can buy by kilo. 1 kilo will make 10 kilos within a few weeks. Okay, and if I combine this with my greenhouse upstairs, I can use the food and the fertilizer and exchange among both facilities. Okay. Now also I can have poultry farming and egg production very easy, because I will have the water and I have electricity and have everything, and I have the plants, the crops. I can have the seeds and other material for feeding these birds and obtain egg, which is also a facility, a good facility for feeding people. Okay. The last thing will be also sheep rearing and milk production. Why not? I can have some space beside my home, and I can make a small home for these animals, and what's go on like that thing. Okay. Now I hope that I served some part related to IEEE, which is a site as a special interested group in humanitarian technology. Okay, which I concentrated on it, and we are developing now a practical project that what's called supplying us with energy as well as food. Okay, and I will take the few remaining minutes in question and answer if you want. if we have an opportunity, as the host will tell us. If not, you can. Sorry. If not, we can of course make it in WhatsApp or in emails as you prefer. Thank you, and okay, and we'll begin the questioning and discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Adil Abdullah Al Rafi, for a valuable session on the energy. Actually, we will host the question and answer session just before the prayer break. So I would like to be connected with us so we can just call the audience and open the stage for everyone to join in, and they can have an interaction session by that time. Okay.
Sure.
So now I would like to invite the fourth speaker, Mr. Mohammad Irfan. Mr. Mohammad Irfan received his bachelor's in electrical engineering in the year 2013 from the University of Engineering and Technology, Peshawar, Pakistan. And later, he got his master's degree in the same stream from Lahore University of Management Sciences, Pakistan in 2016. He is currently pursuing his PhD studies with the specialization of accelerated updating mechanism for FPGA-based ternary content addressable memory from City University of Hong Kong on scholarship. Mr. Irfan has so far more than 10 quality publications in the relevant area. Currently, he is serving as Chair IEEE City University Hong Kong Student Branch. Previously, Mr. Irfan was associated with Capital University of Islamabad as a lecturer and possesses more than 4 years of teaching experience. Now, I would request him to share some of his valuable experiences with us.
Thank you very much. Can you see my slides and hear me clearly?
Yes, Mr. Irfan, I can just see your slides very clearly and I can hear you very clear as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting to this session. I'm Muhammad Irfan, as you have thank you for the nice introduction. I'm a PhD electrical engineering student in City University of Hong Kong. We have like the EE students and the CS students, so please ask some questions in the comments and maybe we can connect with each other. So very informative session. I enjoyed all of the speakers. So my talk is about how to do research, as we have in the participants, we have undergrad students and also some postgraduate students as well. So they can relate to my talk as well. In the higher education's research is the key part. And additionally, I would like to thank the IEEE UTP Malaysia for inviting me to this sharing. My talk will be slightly very short, just 10 slides, and I would not take more than 10 minutes. So to continue, a little bit about me. I'm doing as a PhD in CTU Hong Kong. I have published so far from 2017 in SCI journals and many conference papers presented in many countries. In the conference, you go to different places like UK, US, Singapore, and also the nearby places. Reviewing is also a major part of the research domain. So I'm serving as a reviewer in different SCI journals, IEEE and ACM journals. Previously, I have also taught the undergrad courses for the past for 2 years in Pakistan, also as a teaching assistant here in CTU, also in LUMS, Pakistan. Other than papers, as today's the theme of today's conference is the volunteer activities and the association with IEEE. So I'm serving as a vice chair in IEEE CTU Hong Kong student branch, and also on the postgraduate level, we have one of the largest associations in CTU. So I'm also associated with them as in the executive management committee. Apart from that, I also like video games and photography. So to come to the talk, what we would learn from today's from my sharing, Here are some questions that what is research? What actually research is that we do in higher studies? And if I want to do research, then where can I actually begin? The third question is that why we publish our work. Publishing is the key part of the research domain. So why we need to publish our work? And if, for example, we decided that we want to publish it, then what are the different venues where we can publish our work? And then what are the important tools that I will share with you for the research that we can use? And finally, some research ethics that we need to follow when doing the higher level studies and doing the academic research. So first of all, what is research? As in the name suggests, it is like searching and exploring for an unexplored thing, searching for new things. So curiosity is the main thing, that you have some questions in your mind, or there is a problem for which you are searching a solution. Here is the official Oxford definition. You can also read that. And it is a systematic investigation. This systematic word is important. You do a systematic kind of searching and researching, that you go through the other researchers' findings, and then you conduct your own set of experiments, and then go to a tentative solution. Where to begin when we decide about something? So it is a very key question, that where can I begin? So the first thing about research is that you can explore that in your undergrad courses. What were your courses of interest? What were your subjects, like the main courses that we study? So from there you can start that. Where can you take it onwards, your undergrad courses, because those are the baselines which creates the background for your forward research work. So then literature review, we do some survey papers. Survey papers are technically like from the past 10 years, what have been done in that research area. So to start with, we study a lot of survey papers, and then we get the idea that what has been done so far. The third thing, we can see some scholars' profile, that what are the latest things that they are doing in our research area. So the important things, the platforms there from where we can connect to different scholars are the Google Scholar as well as the ResearchGate. And last thing where to begin is that we need to find out the keywords, that what are the keywords in my research area. Why we publish, actually, to disseminate knowledge, actually, to know the world, that what you are doing and you are trying to solve a problem. And the second thing is, obviously, this is an important part in the PhD studies and the higher educations. Funding sources are the key thing in the research area. So to supervise further students in your area, and for your career advancement, the publications are very important, that you publish your work and know the world, that what you have been doing, and it is important for your career advancement as well. And last thing, innovations are a result of this published material, that you let know the companies that what you have been doing and what are your findings. So on the basis of those, then the products are being formed, and the people and the world gets benefited from that. Where to publish? Very briefly, conferences where you go and meet with different scholars, different parts of the world, you present over there. And then the second thing are the journals. Journals can be in different categories, the IEEE transactions or the ACM transactions, the IET, and then letters, magazines. the SCI journals and non-SCI journals. These can be the different venues where you can publish your work and let know the world that what you have been doing. And also some book chapters. When the research area gets advances, then you write some book chapters to know the new researchers in a very background style, that what are the important things and what are the basics in your research area. So important tools, writing a paper. On the right side, you have you can see a graph that all of us have been using the MS Word. So my suggestion to the new researchers would be to start writing in the LaTeX. I know MS Word, we have been using MS Word from very from long time ago, but MS Word, actually the difficulty curve is something like this, and at some point it is very impossible to do that when the complexity of your document. Of course, you can do the MS Word are added with such kind of tools like the Mendeley and EndNote, which can ease your research process, but it is highly recommended that you use LaTeX for your writing of the papers, because LaTeX is not LaTeX throughout the world is considered as a research tool. If you say that I have written my paper, my manuscript in MS Word, then it's not a research kind of thing. But if you say that I have written the paper in the LaTeX, then it is considered as a skill that you know that how to write something in LaTeX. So it is highly recommended for the new researchers. Initially, you can see that it is difficult at this point that to start with the LaTeX, but later on you will find out that the curve becomes very easy, and you will enjoy the writing part of your research thing. To continue, we all of us use in writing the papers, we draw some graphs. So that would be highly recommended that you use the vector graphs, vector figures instead of the just normal figures. The EPS and PDF are the famous vector graphics which you can use in the your papers. Last point would be the ethics in research, that we highly recommended that honesty is very important in the research thing, and you are very careful in all of your steps that you form in the research domain, and also the confidentiality that the experimental work that you have been doing, if you have not published the work yet, so you keep it inside your research group and you do not share it with the outside world unless it is until it is important. And last thing, that you avoid the plagiarism in the research community, and it is highly important that you keep in the initial stages, you take care of such points. So that's all from my side. If you have any questions or any thing, feel free to send me an email, and also when the organizers will give time for the questions, so I will be very glad to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Irfan, for the talk. Now, our fifth speaker of the day is Dr. Zain Anwar Ali. Dr. Zain has received BS degree in Electronic Engineering from Sir Syed University of Engineering and Technology, Karachi, Pakistan in 2010, and the PhD degree in Control Theory and Control Engineering from Nanjing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics, Nanjing, China in 2017. Dr. Zain has worked as a senior researcher in the College of Automation Engineering, Southeast University, Nanjing, Jiangsu, China, and assistant professor at Department of Electronic Engineering, Sir Syed University of Engineering and Technology, Karachi. Currently, Dr. Zain is working as senior lecturer at School of System Sciences, Beijing Normal University, China. I request him to share his words with us.
Hello. You hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, first of all, I'm thankful to UTP Students IEEE organization to invite me for this special session as a speaker. And regarding my information, there is some misunderstandings. I will give my intro by myself. First of all, myself, Dr. Zain Anwarali. I am the Senior Research Scientist, School of System Science, Beijing Normal University, China. The topic of my speech is bio-inspired algorithms for unmanned systems. Regarding my profile, there's a short video that's get my portfolio. Thank you. Regarding my qualification, I did my post-PhD fellowship from control theory and control engineering from Southeast University, Nanjing, China. And the research topic of this research regarding this, my PhD post-fellowship is a MRAC-based robust hybrid control algorithm and its application on unmanned system equipped with a manipulator. These are different type of unmanned systems like robots, like wheel robot, UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, and it's about ROUV. It's a remotely operated underwater vehicle. I did my PhD in the same field of control theory and control engineering from Nanjing University of Aeronautics and Astronauts, Nanjing, China, the year of 2017. And my research area is the same as my PhD fellowship area. But in that area, I've worked on the theory side of the controllers and to make the hybrid controllers. I did my master's from Usman Institute in Industrial Control and Automation. And I did my BS in Electronic Engineering from Sir Syed University of Engineering and Technology, Karachi, Pakistan in 2010. Regarding my profile summary, previously I'm the director of a continuing education program, Sir Syed University. Right now I'm the approved supervisor, currently supervising different masters and 5 PhD students with international and national project research grants in China, Malaysia, and Pakistan. Right now, I'm the guest editor of versatile engineering journals. The 2 main engineering journals are, number 1 is the SAGE Measurement and Control, and the 2 is Emerald World Journal of Engineering. These days, I'm the guest editor of 2 special issues. I'm watching Outcome-Based Education Washington Accord OBE trainer at Sir Syed University of Engineering and Technology. Have experience of about more than 10 years of research and teaching experience at both local and international forum. Regarding the courses that I taught in undergraduate and postgraduate courses. These are the list of courses. Research area and specialization. Currently, I'm working on the area of bio-inspired computations and algorithm, and as well as industrial control automation, control theory and control engineering, robotics, autonomous systems, aerial and underwater, and the last, there's a programmable logic controllers, PLCs. Regarding my research publications, more than 70 international reviewed journals, conference, and a book chapter I have at the 25 of a SCI publication, in 16 engineering index for EI journals publication, 20 international journals and periodicals like Scopus and EI Inspect, and about a 9 conference paper. Regarding today, my speech topic, the path planning of multiple UAV algorithm, research contribution. Here's the content. All the contents are here. problem statement, what is cooperative path planning, hybrid algorithm, and the simulation results. So first of all, I'm going to define what is the path planning of multiple UAVs. The cooperative path planning of multiple unmanned UAVs is a complex task. This research addressed the path planning of multi-colonies with multi-UAVs in dynamic environment. To observe the model of whole scenario, we combined the maximum minimum on-colony optimization, MMACO, and differential evolution to make a meta-heuristic hybrid optimization algorithm. Our design algorithm controlled the deficiencies of the present classical ACO and MMACO. ACO is an on-colony optimization that has the contradiction among the excessive information and global optimization. The research contributions still now are undergoing are the present studies state the issues of UAV path planning by taking the benefits of smart bio-inspired algorithms in the presence of dynamic environment issues like a wind and different tornadoes issues. Many different issues are there. In this research, we design a novel max-min on-colony optimization with differential evolution to make a meta-heuristic hybrid algorithm. Also, to combine these two algorithms increase the complexity of the system, but it will surely provide a global optimal solution for path planning of multiple colonies with multiple UAVs. The primary achievement of the research are as follows. Number 1A is the multiple colonies optimization having different sub-ant colonies exist in the entire ant colony, where each subcolony perform independently to explore the overall area. 3 different colonies have been made at each colony is independent to find the optimal or shortest distance to reach at the target area. To enhance the performance of the entire colony, each colony needs to share its knowledge with others to find the best and the shortest route, which initial point to be target area, and from a colony in which upgradation of route and limitize the number of participants is done by MMACO. Finally, DE will globally determine which is the most suitable colony to reach the targeted area in optimal time. Regarding a problem statement, the multiple UAVs path planning problem will be shown in figure 1. And in the next slide, I will show the figure 1. To consider 3 UAVs take off from the 3 different locations of an entire colony. The term different locations called the sub-colonies, i.e. 1, 2, 3 target the designated area. Moreover, there are some obstacles in the form of mountains, high rocks in the route due to these aforementioned threats in the fly zone need to escape from them robustly. Furthermore, during the whole scenario, UAVs are required to maintain safe distance to avoid collision and arrive at the targeted area by time synchronization to adjust the length of the route of the complete tour. Here is the mission requirement, which is defined in that figure. Our main concern is to find which colony is most suitable to target the designated area optimally. Actually, there are 3 different UAVs you have to be seen in the figure, but it's not only 3 UAVs, it's 3 different entire colonies. And which colony is most suitable to attack the targeted area? That's the main theme of this research. Now, what is the comparative path planning? To compare with the path planning of individual UAV, multi-UAVs require perfect coordination between the neighbor UAVs to meet with the specific point or area without any collision. The requirements to achieve the mission and physical parameters are different from a single UAV. The cooperation and coordination between several UAVs bring different constraints, i.e. timing coordination and avoidance to collide with each other. In this study, we mainly focus on collision avoidance and coordination between the UAVs. That is defined in the figure 2. The path planning coordination between the UAVs. The number 1 thing is the path planning coordination, all the UAVs. Next, a hybrid MMACOD algorithm. What we make in that algorithm? The design algorithm based on the following steps. First, divide the entire colony into 3 different sub-colonies. Colony 1, Colony 2, and Colony 3. All the colonies are collaborated with each other. It means that they have to be shared their information with each colony. Like Colony 1 share their information to Colony 3, 3 share their information with Colony 2, and Colony 2 share their information with Colony 1. All the colonies are collaborated with each other. In each colony, only the best ant is chosen to construct the route. The best armed means the best UAV will fly from that colony. Construct the route and calculate the fitness, mutation and crossover. The constant start their working, update and limitize the phenomenon. The phenomenon is the amount of substance that will be that the arm will put in that route, and the best route provided by the colony. And in the last selection, DE, which is the most optimal route they provide us. These are the simulation results of the scenario one. We have two different scenarios. As you can see, there's a starting point from the same location and ending point the same location area. The red one is we have to be run the ACO, Ant-Colony Optimization Algorithm. And the next one is the MMACODE, that is our modified hybrid algorithm. And we have to start the UVs from the initial position 0, 0, and 0 point, and the end point is 20, 21. And in the last, we have to be calculate the distance. The distance covered by ACO is about 29.121 kilometers. As compared to ACO, our hybrid algorithm covered the distance about 25.122, and by using some difficult route, there are some upstairs and long runs. There's a mountain in the route, but our proposed algorithm is able to optimize the distance, and that would be the main aim of this research. In the next scenario, we have to take in the three different colonies and run our own algorithm MMACO. By using three different colonies. Obviously, the initial point of all the UAVs of all the colonies are different as compared to A, B, and C, or 1, 2, and 3. The first initial point is the 0, but from the y-axis, you can see the colony 2 start point is about a 5 on the y-axis, and colony 3 is about a 10. And in the last, we have to be seen in the table that 23.54 is the shortest distance optimized path that would be able to find the shortest path by using colony 3. So in conclusion, we have to conclude that the colony 3 is the most suitable path to fulfill the mission requirement and to achieve the target area by using the optimized path using the MMACOD algorithm. To conclude, the study combined the MMACO maximum minimum on-colony optimization with differential evaluation strategy to make a hybrid meta-heuristic algorithm. The proposed strategy could speedily explore the most feasible and optimal three-dimensional route for path planning of multiple UAVs. It can also robustly solve the problems for the path planning in dynamic environment. The simulation results showed that we divide the entire colony into different ant colonies for the exploration of global optimal colony to complete the mission requirement. The above designed hybrid algorithm offers a platform of multi-UVs, multi-colonies path planning concept that is implemented for the real world scenario. Now I'm thankful to you for your time. If you have any query, you may contact me at my email, or you may contact Mustafa, is also my PhD student. I hope. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Dr. Zain Anwar Ali, for an interesting talk and very in-depth knowledge about the subject. So now I would like to invite all of our guests and the dear participants. We will have a group photo together, and then we can just move on to the interactive session. But due to shortage of time, we have to reduce the networking and question answer session for 10 minutes, and then we will go towards namaz break. So I would like to invite Mustafa to begin with the networking and question answer session. Thank you.
Okay, my voice is audible, right?
Yes.
So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm really honored that you all people have blessed me and blessed us basically to join this particular event, which is Student Professional Awareness Conference. The aim and objective of organizing this conference was to just brief you about the IEEE and the perks of IEEE. Along with that, we have inducted some of the talks on certain topics, as I'm really grateful to Dr. Zen that he blessed us about the bio-inspired algorithm. Before that, we have talk from the IEEE past year, Madam Lisa, and Dr. Adil from straight away from Bahrain, and above all, we have the supervision of Dr. Fanizu Azmadi Hussain, who is the current IEEE chair of Malaysia section. So I'm really blessed. And so now officially the floor is open for networking. I hereby request you all to please turn on your camera and so that we may see the happy faces of IEEE members around the globe. And if you have any question, then you just put it on the chat box so that we may ask that question to our speakers. If you have any sort of question, the floor is now open. You can type any question on your chat box, and then I will just request you to turn on your camera also so that I have an interactive session. Though this COVID situation has limited us for boundaries, but still through IEEE we are connecting across the border, across the regions, right? So one basic question is that how we can become a part of UTP IEEE members from this is the part. So grabbing the moment, I just request maybe this is a very simple question. So regarding this, there is a website. We have IEEE. You can concern me either or any IEEE member. Ram is also IEEE member. Harika also. So they can guide you regarding that. Apart from that, there is one question also which I definitely asked our respected speaker, Dr. Fanisu. Sir, are you available to say?
Yes,
Dr. Fanisu.
Hi, Dr. Fanisu.
I think that Dr. Fanisu is not with us right now.
Mustafa, if you allow me to ask Dr. Zain just a quick question. Actually, it was very interesting presentation. I just wanted to know if you made any consideration for the energy consumption in the different algorithms. Like, yeah, it could be sometimes the shortest path or so on, but how was, like, for example, the energy consumption, especially this is very important when it comes to probably the batteries and so on. So have you considered that in your research?
Yes, Dr. Mohammad Hussain. Yes, actually, all the formation or path planning using this type of scenario, we are not using the battery-based UAVs. It's a quite big UAVs, and previously I'm working in the simulation machine control lab of Nanjing, in Nanjing, China. We are making the UAVs by using the engine, and we use the fossil oil to operate these engines. It's not a battery operated UAVs that can be able to fly about 25 kilometers. It's not possible for the UAVs or battery based UAVs. And the type and the type of that UAV is quite big as compared to the small UAVs. It's not for the local purpose usage UAVs. It's for the Air Force or for the forces UAVs. Mostly our own make UAVs buy by Pakistan, NASCOM, and different like Vietnam forces buy these type of UAVs from China.
Okay, so any more questions if you have? Madam Louisa, are you available? Madam Louisa? Yes. I grabbed an opportunity and asked one question which is very generic. And that is, people think that IEEE is only for electrical and electronic engineers. Is it so really?
Sorry, for whom is this question for?
Uh, this question is from my side on behalf of all the people around who are going to join IEEE. They think that IEEE is only for electrical and electronic engineers.
Okay, I have the question, but is it the question is for me or for whom?
For you, madam, just help us to clear the
Okay.
ambiguity.
I think your voice is not audible now. So okay. I know. Electrical electronics IEEE is not only for electrical electronics engineering. It's also for. It's already wide. You know, we already they already open up to. Of course, the computer science is there. Computer engineering is there. Mechatronics is there. They already open up to mechanical engineering. And now also physicists, mathematicians, you can become a member because it involves a lot of mathematics. Because if you want to have a novelty, so normally you have to have mathematics inside in your whatever, signal processing, image processing, or the algorithm should be there. So they open to what they call even now they open also to the technology management, to lawyers, to English lecturers, or to linguist profession, but all must go towards the engineering, the electrical engineering profession. So like these are the support, what they call it, support group that towards when you have the engineering business, so you must have the corporate lawyers that understand the engineering part, because for them to deal for the like the legal issues and things like that. Now we have like intellectual properties, all these legal issues involve the patents and the intellectual property. So you need the lawyers which understand the technology. So all these are welcome to join IEEE. Okay, is that answer your question?
Yes, madam. I hope that me, along with other members, have been answered. Thank you so much, madam. Now, I just request for a quick photograph. I just open the camera. All participants, I request, so that we may have a happy faces photograph for the event. So, I request Farhan to get the multiple screenshots of all participants. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for being so lovely, audience. Now I just provide the control to Farhan to move on for the break. Farhan, you may continue.
Okay, so now we will have a short break for prayers as we are observing the time for prayers in Malaysia. So we will have a 15 minutes break for the prayer time. And meantime, those who still want to stay connected with us as we are connected from across the globe. So you can interact with the speakers and me as well during the prayer break also. Otherwise, we'll just join after 15 minutes and we'll have you on board and we can continue with our things. Thank you so much.
Welcome again, everyone. Our next interactive session speaker is Mr. Mohammed Hussain. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you are audible, Niharika. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Mohammed is a recent graduate of Multimedia University, Malaysia, with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Currently, he is pursuing his master's degree in engineering science as a graduate research assistant at the same university. Mr. Mohammed joined IEEE in 2016 and started his volunteering work as a vice chair for IEEE MMU student branch. In 2017, he was elected as a chair of the student branch. Considering his excellent experience with IEEE students, he was appointed as Malaysia Section Student Representative for 2019 to 2020. In 2020, he founded IEEE PES Student Branch Chapter at MMU University. Currently, he is serving as an ex-com for IEEE Malaysia Section Consultants Network Affinity Group. Mr. Mohammed has been IEEE Malaysia's one of the best members recruiter of IEEE Malaysia. Since 4 years, he has recruited over 320 members to support IEEE Malaysia. He has received multiple awards by himself and with the team. His latest award associated with IEEE is R10 SAC Outstanding Student Volunteer Award in 2019. Now I request him to share his experience with us.
Mohammed Hussain, can you hear us? I think Mr. Hussain could not connect, so I'm just trying to get back to him. He has some mic issues, maybe, or maybe they're poor internet connectivity. So he'll be with us shortly. So we're just trying to connect. So stay connected with us by this time. Ms. Nita, are you available? So we can just shuffle your turn with Mr. Hussain.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so now I would request Ms. Nita to share her knowledge. And first, I would like to introduce Ms. Nita for. Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so Ms. Nita, she's the Senior Director Engineering L3 at L3 Harris Technologies. Ms. Nita was named the 2014 L3 Engineer of the Year and in 2011, and she was awarded with New Hemisphere Engineer of the Year for her technical contributions to the engineering profession. Outside of work, Ms. Nita volunteers with IEEE Toastmasters International and the United States Chess Federation. Ms. Nita received her degrees in engineering from Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas. I would request Ms. Nita to share a few experiences with us so we can be very beneficial with that. So, yeah.
Thank Thank you, Farhan. Good evening, Sulamat Putang. I'm honored to join you today for this wonderful event hosted by the IEEE UTP student branch. And thank you to event chair Ghulam E. Mustafa Bro for the invitation to share a few minutes with you to speak at this 2020 Student Professional Awareness Conference. I understand you are also celebrating 2 milestones with the launch of the newsletter as well as Malaysia National Day. And I want to congratulate you as you celebrate the 63rd year of freedom and prosperity. And I hope you please accept my best wishes for continued peace and prosperity and happiness as you enjoy this joyous occasion. Today, I want to share a little bit about myself, but really I want to talk about leadership in the time of COVID 2019. As you know, or may have known, I'm a leader in many parts of IEEE. I've had the honor to serve on the Ada Kappa Nu board, the IEEE USA board, the Computer Society board. But one of my most favorite responsibilities was being international chair of IEEE Women in Engineering and creating and launching the Women in Engineering International Leadership Conference. Today, I'm currently on the IEEE Foundation Board, which is responsible for making sure we have endowments to fund programs within IEEE. And I'm running for the IEEE Computer Society President-elect. So if you're a member of the Computer Society, I would genuinely appreciate your vote. So let me get into the topic we're going to talk about today. And let me start with this idea of, I apologize, leadership. So what is the definition of leadership? Leadership is the ability and act of guiding and motivating a group of people towards a common purpose. So a few things I want to point out here. It is something that has ability, which means there are skills. And skills are things that you can develop. So you can learn them, you can enhance them, you can make them better and stronger. Also, it's the act. You have to take action. You have to be willing to take the first step, put your voice out there. If you notice, there's no mention of power in this definition. There's no mention that you have to directly supervise. There's no mention of, that people will automatically listen to what you have to say. So leadership is about figuring out how to connect with people, which is social influence, how to bring people together, which can be through a common shared purpose. This means that leadership doesn't mean that you have to have a big title or be the CEO to be a leader. You can be a leader. And more than likely, many of you already are, as we have noticed today, Farheen and Mustafa and others who have put this event on are leaders because they were able to pull together a team, they were able to execute, they were able to define a program for us. So there are different traits and skills that come with leadership. If you don't mind to take a few minutes and in the chat box, please identify, I'll give you 30 seconds. Oops. Please identify a couple of leadership skills that you think are important. They could be time management. They could be organization. So take 30 seconds and in the chat box, type in a skill that you think is important to leadership. Lead by example, Norlisa says. Yep, absolutely. Creativity, thoroughness, taking risk, motivating, mediate, inspire. Absolutely. All of those are different skills. Role modeling. So leadership is a makeup of many, many different elements. It's not one single characteristic. It's not one single trait. So today I do want to focus on 3 specific elements of leadership that I think are incredibly important. I've learned through my many years at work and through my IEEE responsibilities that these leadership skills make you a stronger leader. And they're not easy, like most things in life. Not everything is easy, but they're very important if you can learn to improve or focus on them. So I'm going to talk today about these three things. One, to show empathy respectfully. Two, to live in the now positively. And three, choose speed over elegance, clearly communicated. So the first one, show empathy respectfully. How do you do that? You do that through emotional intelligence, which sometimes people say is just as important as intelligent quotient, IQ, so EQ, and emotional intelligence quotients. This is the ability to fully understand oneself, that means you, and to relate well with others. When I think of empathy, especially in the time of a crisis, all of us are dealing with the situation in different ways. I have two sisters. Even though we grew up in the same family with the same parents, with the same examples, we're very different in some ways, and we are dealing with COVID very differently. In the United States, in some of the states, masks are required. Some of the states have different quarantine rules. I am not as scared of COVID as my sisters are, but that's because we're different people. And so each of us deal with it differently. And the key here as a leader is that you have to be able to understand your reaction. So for me, I had to think, why am I not scared? What about the situation makes it so that I feel like I have some level of control, that I can get through the situation? And the second part is understand how the other person is thinking, which is to relate with them. And I have to think, okay, so even though my sisters and I grew up together, why do they think of this differently? What about it is different for them? How are they reacting to it? What is it that is important to them that might not be important to me? And I don't have to agree, but I have to understand. And that is the key as a leader. You don't have to agree with everybody's ideas, but you have to understand them. And that is the essence of empathy. If you can understand another individual's perspective, then you are able to treat them with respect because you can appreciate their reasons. You can appreciate why you have your reasons, and you can appreciate why they have their reasons. So I think this is one of the critical elements to being a leader, especially in the time of crisis. You have to feel for the person and then respect their opinion. And if you can do that, you will be a stronger leader. The second key element that I want you to think about is to live in the now positively. So live in the now, usually you think about, presence, and you think about meditation and the ability to connect with your soul and the surroundings. That's one element of it, but that's not the full picture that I'm trying to convey. What I'm trying to convey by living in the now is to be calm, clear, and confident in the moment. It doesn't mean you have to meditate. It doesn't mean you have to do deep internal research about yourself and understand everything. It just simply means look about you today. It's important to remember the past so we don't make mistakes, and it's important to think about the future so that you have goals and ambitions, but it's extremely important to be in the present and content with where you are. One step to help you do this is to express gratitude for what you have in your life. And by the expression of gratitude, you will find a lot of things to be positive about. You'll find a lot of things in your present situation that will make it so that you appreciate what is happening. And this is extremely important in the time of crisis. In the time of crisis, we have all sorts of data, we have negative things happening, and it's sometimes difficult. So one way to think about it is to express gratitude. And I'm going to give you another 30 seconds or so. And in the chat box, type in something that you're grateful for. What is it that you are grateful for? I'm grateful that I had food in my house for breakfast. I'm grateful that I can share a beautiful morning with an international group many, many miles away from me. I'm grateful that I'm healthy. So what are you grateful for? Could be grateful for health, for technology, for sharing a evening together. All of these things will enable you. And if you can daily identify one or two elements that you are grateful for, you will find your life tremendously changed because you will have a different perspective. And this perspective will allow you to be positive, having a good life, health, being able to connect easily with others, as people have noted in the chat. Absolutely, those are awesome things that we get to enjoy, even though there's this craziness of COVID around us. And this allows you to live in the present moment, which is so important. And it allows you to be positive because you're obviously thinking of the things that are influential in your life in a positive way. The second part of being positive, I like to think of Newton's third law. Many of you probably know it, right? For every action, there's an equal and positive or different reaction. And I really believe this. You may not know it, but every interaction you have impacts the person, the surrounding that you're having that interaction with. And if that's true, wouldn't you want it to be positive? Wouldn't you want what you're getting back? Because Newton's third law, and we know energy conservation is true, right? That if you take an action, you're going to get a positive and equal reaction from it. So why not make your actions positive so that the reaction is even more positive? I truly believe if you can be grateful, you will automatically have positive interactions with others, which in turn will give you more positive reactions, which will allow you to deal with stressful and crisis situations a little more positively and sanely. So live in the now by being grateful for what you have. Look to the past to learn and think about the future to grow, but enjoy and appreciate what is today in a positive way by your interactions and being in the moment. That's the second critical element to leadership, I think, especially in the time of crisis. The third element that I want to talk to you about today is to choose speed over elegance, clearly communicated. Now, what do I mean by that? In the time of crisis, especially COVID, where the situation is quite dynamic, there's new information coming out hourly, there's new rules and ways of handling the situation coming out, new definitions of what is good about the crisis, what is not good about the crisis, how should one country deal with it versus another. There's a lot of information and churn. And usually when you're trying to be a leader, you're trying to assimilate data and make a decision. And most of us have a tendency to want to have as much data as possible. But to really be an effective leader, you have to get over this idea of perfection, which is this idea that you're going to have all the data and then you're going to make this beautiful decision that solves everything. That rarely happens, and especially in the time of crisis, it's very difficult to happen. What people need from a leader is somebody who can quickly decide, even on incomplete information, and they're not looking for elegance, which I think of as perfection, and they're able to clearly communicate the decisions they've made. Not just the what, here's what we're going to do, but why did they make the decision? How did they make the decision? What does the decision look like for the person that you're conveying it to? So be able to articulate content, which is the why, the how, and do it clearly. And one way to communicate clearly is through color. And by color, I mean by giving stories. Like many of you will remember that I have two sisters and that I shared a story of how they're dealing with COVID versus me. If you don't remember anything else, because stories are something you can relate to. And when you're in a leadership position, try to incorporate stories into your presentation so that people understand. This morning, Dr. Fanuzu Hussein gave a story about climbing mountains, and many of us will remember the idea behind, using other people to help you and being able to have a goal of that magnitude. even though we may not remember all the other details, but the story helps us connect. And the third element of clearly communicating is courage. And I don't mean courage like running into a building on fire so that you can save somebody. That is a certain type of courage. But what I mean by courage is this ability to tell and communicate with your whole heart. And that doesn't mean you have to tell everybody all of your feelings and how you're dealing with everything, but it means that you're fully invested. And when you think about being fully invested, it means that you allow yourself to be imperfect, that you're not perfect. Usually for us, we often don't want to speak up, we don't want to engage because we may be wrong. And as a leader, you have to accept being imperfect so that individuals understand you are human, that you also can appreciate when they don't make the right choices, that you understand. And this is probably the hardest part of clearly communicating, is having that courage to put your whole heart into it, allow yourself to be imperfect, which will enable you to be authentic. So the last element of leadership, especially in the time of crisis, is speed over elegance or speed over perfection, clearly communicated with clear content, color, and courage. If you're able to remember and think about that the next time you're trying to convince somebody to help you on your project to meet a deadline, explain the why, maybe share a story of how it happened in the past, you were able to be successful, and be authentic. Admit that you don't know all the answers and ask for input. These are the elements that will allow you to be a true leader. So in any situation, but I think especially in the COVID situation, I want you to think about these three elements of leadership. Think about showing empathy, respectfully connecting with individuals, using your emotional intelligence, living in the now positively, being grateful for the simple and the many varied elements of your life that are there for you, and react and interact positively with others. And it'll just make you more grateful and more fulfilled. And then choose speed over elegance, clearly communicated. These three, they're big ask, I understand, but if you want to grow your leadership and expand your leadership, these are three I've found to be very impactful and important as you grow. I know we have very short time this morning, but again, if you have any questions, my email is here. Again, as many people have said throughout the presentations today, reach out. This is why we have these opportunities, is to find connections and to establish some common understanding. So don't hesitate, take advantage of it. Reach out, contact me, and thank you. Terima kasih. I appreciate that opportunity and wish you all a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nita Patel, for enlightening us about leadership and reminding us to be always grateful and staying positive. Our next and last interactive session speaker of the day is Mr. Muhammad Hussain. I request him to share his experience with us.
Yeah, hi, good evening to all of you, or maybe good morning, like from Ms. Nita, wherever you are in the world. May I ask if my voice clear?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're clearly audible.
Thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this great event, IEEE UTP Student Branch Petronas. It's a great honor to be in this discussion with the great, well-established volunteers and academicians, Dr. Faunizo, Prof. Nolisa, Dr. Adil, Dr. Zain, Mr. Irfan, and Ms. Nita. As fortunate to be also with Dr. Faunizo and Nolisa, it might not be the best idea to give to talk about IEEE after them. After all, there are two of them are my mentors. I had the opportunity to interact with Dr. Nolisa when she was the past chair in 2016 when I joined IEEE. And currently, Dr. Faunizo is the chair of IEEE Malaysia section. I'm the student representative, so I'm also reporting to him. But I will be sharing my advices, I would say, and I will try to keep it short. I'm aware that we are running out of time. From a student perspective, and I might maybe, you could see some similar slides, what Dr. Fonizo and Prof. Nurliza have shared. Just a little about me. I'm the student representative for IEEE Malaysia section. I serve as chair for BAS, past chair for my student branch, and now currently working with the Consultants Network in Malaysia. I'm also graduate research assistant, so I'm not a doctor, but thank you, Dr. Zain. I'm still doing my master's in Multimedia University. You could find more about my university. So proceeding next, like advice I would give to new IEEE members. I would say that IEEE member is one of the greatest platforms where you can gain and contribute. So first, how do you contribute, okay? How do you contribute is by volunteering. And I think this topic has been nicely covered by Dr. Fonizo. There are a lot of us has a potential to help others, okay? But sometimes you help others individually, and then maybe sometimes you don't know where you could help others. IEEE is a platform where you could reach out and help others beyond oneself. You could impact your university, you could impact your community, even the scientific community. So it's a great platform to contribute. And we have to always learn that life is all about gaining and contributing. If you're not contributing, then what's the point? Like, I mean, it's like you're considered, like, I would say, maybe for the word, not useful to others if we're not contributing and we're only gaining. Okay, the contribution could be a form of knowledge sharing. You could be, for example, giving, for example, IEEE volunteer. You could be giving talks, workshops, seminars, or organizing some conferences. Or you could contribute by publishing work, for example, as to the scientific community. Or in community improvement, as Prof. Nurliza have mentioned, there are a lot of grants that you can use to improve community. Eventually, IEEE is all about advancing technology for humanity. So it's all for humans and for our community. The second one, so this is what I want to highlight. And the second one is also we can gain a lot. And this is by knowing IEEE membership benefits. Sadly, there are a lot of benefits of IEEE membership that many are not aware of. And every time they assume, most of the time, even sadly sometimes volunteers, that the benefit of IEEE is, for example, just attending some events and getting some discounts on some publications or conferences. But it's much beyond that. I think Prof. Nurliza and Dr. Fonizo shared a lot. So it's about professional networking, knowledge, community, funds, scholarships, awards, and things that could help you on your profession. I think Prof. Nurliza has mentioned a lot, and this is one of the things that she actually mentioned. Which is the global benefits finder, where you can actually select where you are. Are you undergrad? Are you postgrad? Are you a young professional? And then you select the country, and then the benefits, they might vary. For example, if you're in the US, they have some extra benefits like some insurance and so on. And so they vary from country to another. So this is a useful. I'll be sharing the slides later with the audience. Okay. So one of the things that we could help us is professional networking. It's quite something interesting to share. Like, for example, just simply on Facebook, okay? I used to most of the time interact with for example, my family members, my friends from my high school friends back in my country. I come actually originally from Yemen and so on. But like in the past, I noticed in the past 3-4 years, most of my interaction is becoming more with IEEE volunteers. And it's becoming honestly like a family. Like honestly, if you just go onto my Facebook, for example, it's everything you could see that there's IEEE, a family. You know, like, so we all get to know each other on different levels. You get to meet professors, some great volunteers. And I think this is definitely worth it. And to me, I think this is one of the most important benefit of IEEE is professional networking. And you could use, for example, I think Prof. Nurliza mentioned about IEEE Collaborative. And I provided the link later if you want to explore more. Okay, and then we have definitely Google Apps where you can have your IEEE email, and sometimes you could have a unique one. I was surprised to know that nobody is using Muhammad@IEEE.org. Probably nobody thought it's available. So it's something interesting to have. And then of course you have some storage and so on. And then of course everybody knows IEEE Explore Library. Okay, So I think it has been mentioned. And of course, the magazines that are associated, either they're general like Spectrum or Potentials or like Proceedings and of IEEE, or those that are associated with the technical societies like Power and Energy, the PLES, Computer, Communication, Vehicle Technologies, and many more. And then, of course, you have the IEEE TV, where it's an internet-based television broadcasting network. And you could explore many channels. For example, if you click on channels, you could find a lot of channels which are based on either interest or field or maybe sometimes geographical area, okay? And then, for example, if I would click on young professionals, then you find a lot of videos on, helping you as a young professional, for example, self-development and so on. Okay, and then of course we have the e-learning, where you can join some programs and where you can actually earn some certificates. Some programs are free, some you have to pay for them. And of course, if you are a member, you have a greater benefit. We have the IEEE e-learning, and we have the other one, IEEE learning network. Okay, and this is you could actually sometimes, even if you're not an IEEE member, some of them only, but not all of them. You could actually access them even without being a member. And then we're coming to knowledge with Try Engineering. I think it has been well explained. It's suitable for teachers, for students. For example, for teachers, they could plan lessons. They could learn how to build some robots or some small project that could be implemented. And actually, it's interesting that in Malaysia, some of them, I've met some lecturers who said that they were influenced by Try Engineering, IEEE Try Engineering. They're using it in their own classes. And also students, they could meet engineers, ask experts, and choosing universities, and so on. And then there are actually many more you could explore on your own. It's just that I just wanted to highlight. So most of them, except IEEE US ebooks, so most of them, they fall under the educational activities. So if you go here, and we are lucky to have actually Prof. Noor Lisa, she's a part of the IEEE certificates program. And then of course, the IEEE US ebooks have been shared. And then one website that summarizes a lot for you. Of course, some information that are being scattered here and there, but if you go to this website, which is IEEE Student Fund and Scholarship Opportunities, actually you could find here a search, and then you could select, are you looking for awards, for scholarships, for funds, and then based on that, you will get a lot of results such as these scholarships and awards, okay? And then, of course, the HAC, and it actually comprises of 4 different categories. For example, they could support events. If you have individual events organized by IEEE organizational units, it could actually extend, I think, up to 5,000 USD. They could support participation in conferences, and I think many are not aware of that. And then, of course, the HAC projects, from what I understand, is they usually fund for between 20,000 USD to 60,000 USD, and then you have the sites projects which go up to 20,000 USD. And sometimes they have like special projects such as COVID-19. And then there are many opportunities for funds. You could find them in IEEE Foundation, in EAB, which Prof. Noor Lisa is a part of, Women in Engineering, regional funding. So regional, basically we are speaking about, this is how IEEE is divided into regions. We are speaking about region 10 from our side. Sometimes societies like Power, Energy, Communication, or sometimes a section. Professional-wise, I think aside from the IEEE Collaborative that Prof. Noor Lisa have already spoken about, so I'm not speaking about it, we have also IEEE job site where actually you can find a job posting there as well. Okay, and then of course has been mentioned IEEE entrepreneurship, where it helps you. For me, I have a great interest in entrepreneurship and management. So I think it's one of the greatest tools and benefits that members could learn and benefit from. And then coming to the IEEE mentoring program, which actually is inside IEEE Collaborative. If you're wondering how, I provided the link here. So this mentor, it could be in a form of, if somebody is you are sharing the same field of interest, like technically speaking, or sometimes you would wish to learn more about IEEE leadership and so on. So you can actually select one of the mentors. And I think many are willing to help and mentor others. Okay, so this is one thing to take advantage of. Okay, and lastly, also coming to competitions. There are many competitions. For example, on the regional level, we have for the postgrad, we have for the undergrad, and then we have for the websites. Also, although the websites, they are mainly for the student branches, but then usually the webmaster is usually when we submit the awards is always recognized, the webmaster. So this is an opportunity, and a current opportunity we are, for example, in IEEE Malaysia, under Dr. Alpha and me, we are running this IEEE Malaysia final year project competition in 15 tracks and in different fields like power, energy, and communication, and so on, which student members could take advantage of. And of course, not to mention the publications, the conferences, discounts, international and local events, where many events usually will always vary. For example, if they are free, then it's free for all. And sometimes if there is a charge, usually always IEEE members will get a cheaper fee. And then just to give you an idea, if you are within IEEE Malaysia section, for example, the student spot, since I understand the majority of the attendants are students, we are having 28 student branches around Malaysia in most of the universities and here at UTP. So you could actually contact all of them. You could work with them if you want to work with them as a volunteer. What's the advantage of, what's the benefit of being a volunteer? You learn a lot of leadership skills, management skills, financial skills, communication skills, and many more. And as I say, most importantly, you'll become on a platform where you could contribute, or sometimes some into student branches, or you could approach personally. If you're not ready for a full year commitment, you could actually join something called micro volunteering. So micro volunteering is like based on events, like you could be free this month, so like you express your interest or willingness that you want to help the student branches, okay, in their events, then you would be recognized. And then we have the chapters, which are basically based on the field of interest in many universities. And I think the most active one is the Power and Energy Society. And then of course we have others as well. And then we have definitely women in engineering. We had it in 4, and lastly we had it in the University of Malaya. Okay, so eventually I'm coming to the end. Okay, I would say my advice is, please, and this, by the way, I would say that this is the tip of the iceberg, as they say. Okay, there are many, many more benefits, but I was given a time 10 minutes, so I knew I wanted to be able to share everything. At least we would need 1 hour, but please explore. And I understand that some might think that the membership, especially at the student level, might seem expensive to you. But if you're utilizing the full benefit of it, I don't think it's expensive. For example, if you look at now, IEEE is very transparent with its, for example, money, like income and expenses. If you look at IEEE 2019 financial report, the income from the membership, membership is 64 million USD. But then on the other side, if you look at the expenses which are related to the membership services, is almost 90 million USD. Okay, so almost IEEE is subsidizing about 60 US dollar to each member. So please explore the benefits and don't limit yourself thinking about the IEEE benefits. And I don't want to take it longer. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and you could always contact me at my email, muhammad@ieee.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Hussain, for the valuable words. So here is the end of all the talks for today. And now let us move to our celebration session. 16th September, the day that we Malaysians celebrate as Malaysia Day. As we all know, our Malaysia is a glorious melting pot of diverse culture, traditions, and practices with influences from both the East and the West. To enlighten us more about the Malaysia Day, I would like to invite Mr. Tan Lee Tung, Vice Chair of IEEE UTP Student Tranche.
Okay. Hi, am I audible, Yarika?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so good evening. I bet to all the distinguished guests, respected speakers, participants, and the committee's members. Once again, thank you and welcome to the IEEE Student Professional Awareness Conference, SPAC 2020. And together with this event today, we will also like to celebrate the Malaysia Day 2020. So we have listened to a lot of technical talk and a lot of sharings from the speakers. But I think that one of the most important thing that we can do with IEEE is the exchange of culture as well. So we have people, we have participants and speakers all around the globe, and today here we are celebrating the Malaysia Day all together. And this is a good opportunity for you to know more about Malaysia. So a lot of people, they feel confused why there are National Day Malaysia and there is a Malaysia Day. So let me give you a little bit of history about this Malaysia. Malaysia Day, it is different from the Independence Day, which is the National Day of the Malaysia, which falls on 31st August. Malaysia Day falls on the 16th September, and it aims to commemorate the formation of the Malaysia Federation in 1963. And it is the day which the Federation of Malaya, Sabah, Sarawak, and Singapore merged together to form Malaysia. And of course, we know that after that, Singapore is separated from Malaysia in 1965. And today at SPAC, we would like to celebrate this special occasion together with all the guests and participants. And so with that, let me play you the Malaysian National Anthem. Let me share my screen. Alright, now that's the Malaysia National Anthem. And I believe that this is a very good opportunity where we can exchange our culture. And since we have participants and guests all around the globe, so maybe in the future, we can join events, something like this conference, and we will have more chances to network with people, IEEE professionals and volunteers all around the world, and we can, besides of exchanging ideas, exchanging technologies, and we can exchange our culture. And that's all from my side. If you would like to know more about our future events, do remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. So thank you, and that's all from my side.
Okay, so now I just request all the participants and the keynote speakers to please turn on their camera so that we may have a happy photo for the happy day. And request Mr. Farhan to just grab some happy moments.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
मुझे part. And now I would like to invite Mr. Navesh for a closing message over here. And Mr. Navesh, are you there? Can you hear me? So instead, I would like to invite Mr. Ghulam Mustafa Abdo, Event Chair and General Secretary, IEEE UTP Student Branch, for the closing message, as I think we cannot connect with Mr. Navesh Gadipudi. So a very warm welcome to the Event Chair and General Secretary, IEEE.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this wonderful event, and I hereby start grabbing this opportunity and thanking each and everyone, starting from the host, Ms. Niharika, Khan, and all the keynote speakers who are like, always guided me with very humble nature, starting from all the guests, Dr. Fanizu, Ms. Nuraliza, Dr. Adil from Bahrain. Today we have been connected with around the globe, and this is the power that we surely separated for this particular pandemic situation, but still we are connected by IEEE things, and I'm really proud to be a part of this IEEE society as a volunteer. And I hope that we will be having such wonderful audience, including all speakers. Apart from that, this particular session is also been going on a live streaming on YouTube, and over there we have 250 plus audience who couldn't join through the software, perhaps for the installation and all the perhaps hectic process. We have been gone through the Zoom, but regarding the capability, we assure that the software must be free for all. And there are many plans that we are combining, and on behalf of uh, my branch counselor and my chair and each and every person of IEEE who contributed a lot in organizing this event, I'm really thankful. And today we have also 20 guests around the globe also, and that joined today's event, in which we have from Sabah Sarbagh, Dr. Kashif Nisar. We had Dr. Waliuddin from Sir Syed University, Karachi, Pakistan. And apart from that, we have Associate Professor Dr. Anwar Manzar from Hamdard University. So all the people, once you are IEEE member, you are no more, you become global citizen at that moment. So I'm really grateful to each and every member. So this is me, Ghulam Mustafa Abdo, and with my team, IEEE UTP Student Branch, we are really grateful to each and every member who joined today's event. Thank you all. And after that, we will just send you the conference post book along with the certificates also. So formally, this is an end of the session. Thanking you everyone. And I hope that we will be waiting for your valuable feedback too. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I would like to connect Mr. Ramesh.
Thank you, Mr. Ghulam Mustafa Ablo, and all the guests for taking out time to make SPAC 2020 successful. Have a wonderful evening ahead, and I think that's it for today. And Ms. Niharika, you can say a few words, and then we can just end up the session.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Remember to fill your attendance for the certificate. Thank you for joining.